Promise I'm not bald. There's a bun up there somewhere. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Liz. I'm a registered nurse, and if you're not new, welcome back. Sorry for my inconsistency. Don't hate me, I promise. I'm trying to do better for the new year. I just recorded a video on like a really quick brief update of just like where I am in life and what's going on. Today's video is going to be pros and cons of Chamberlain. I have my video on my review of Chamberlain like got a lot of views. For me, I have like 8,000 views, and that's like a lot for me, okay, because I only have 900 subscribers. So yeah, I figured what better than to do a review of Chamberlain. And I have a lot of new subscribers, and I feel like a lot of them are here because they saw my Chamberlain video. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys just some information, all the tea on what you can expect if you are planning to attend Chamberlain University for nursing. Okay, so if you're interested in this information, please stay tuned and keep watching. First of all, ignore like the diaper, that's clean, the shampoo and conditioner, my work clothes for tomorrow. I'm a mom, this is real life, I live here, okay? Like my bed is made, but I live here. Chamberlain University, if you're not aware of Chamberlain, Chamberlain is a private institution offering a bachelor's degree in nursing. They also offer higher education. Don't know if they offer other degrees that are like non-nursing. I think that they're branching out to offer like physical therapy and stuff. Like, don't quote me on that, but like if you've heard of Chamberlain, you know it's for nursing schools. So I attended Chamberlain from 2016 and I graduated in 2018 with my BSN. So I will certainly link below my thorough like review of Chamberlain, because if you're interested, I have a lot of information on the school in that video. And there is a wasp outside my window, lovely. So like I said, I graduated in 2018. As I'm filming this now, it's currently 2022, so I would imagine that there have been some changes, but probably not much as far as like getting into the school and just the logistics of it. Keep in mind that this is like totally subjective information. Like I'm sure like you can look and some people have like totally negative reviews of Chamberlain. Some people loved Chamberlain. I happen to really like my experience there. I thought I got a good education. So I have nothing, well, not that I have nothing negative to say, but most of my things are going to be positive, and I'm not affiliated with them anymore. Like I'm not getting any kind of like freaking compensation or sponsorship or anything like that. Girl, I wish. Take some money off my student loans. That would be lovely for all the people that I've answered. At this point, I've answered so many Chamberlain questions to prospective students. They owe me something. I'm trying to collect a coin, okay? Just for reference, like I said, this is all subjective. I went to the Chamberlain campus. I physically went to campus in Miramar, Florida, which is like South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, close to Miami area, just for reference, because they have different campuses across the country. So let's get into these pros and cons, okay? I don't have like 10 pros and 10 cons. These are just things that I listed off the top of my head that I found were relevant, okay? So pros, we'll talk about the pros first. Pro number one, all-in-one. This is an all-in-one school. So a lot of times when you are trying to get into nursing school, you need to take your prerequisites, then you need to take your T's or your HESI, whatever the entrance exam is, then you need to apply to nursing school, and chances are, unless you're a straight A student, you're gonna be there's gonna be a wait. This is a whole nother issue, but the whole competitiveness to get into nursing is like absolutely asinine. It is the dumbest shit ever, okay? There are so many people who want to be nurses. So many people are qualified, but then they don't pass the T's, which is just basically a competency test from like high school. It has nothing to do with nursing. And that sets you back. It's really all so that these schools can collect more money at the end of the day, let's be real. But you know, that when you compare it to like the amount of nurses that are still needed like in the hospital, it's just like, it don't make no sense. But this school is all in one. So when I say all in one, you can graduate high school, okay? Do your little financial aid, your FAFSA, whatever. Take your T's, and if you get you still need to take the T's. And if you get the appropriate score, you go straight in, okay? You can do all your prerequisites at Chamberlain. Now, keep in mind, it's gonna cost you, okay? It is a private school, we'll get into that next, but it's gonna cost you, but you can do everything. You can do your chemistry, your microbiome, your English. You can do everything at Chamberlain and literally get your degree from start to finish in 3 years. And that's a bachelor's degree, okay? From start to finish in just 3 years. And my battery's gonna die. Love that for me. So let's compare that 3 years to a traditional state school or community college. Okay, let's talk about community college first, which is the most competitive thing ever. So you graduate high school, you know exactly what you want to do. You want to be a nurse. Great. Take your prerequisites. Do all your prerequisites. Great. Take your T's or your HESI. Pass your HESI, your T's. Great. And pray that you are one of those, you know, 30 seats that they have available, that you get chosen for one of those 30 seats out of the like 2,000 applicants, okay? Because that's how many people want to be nurses when you go into into college. Tons of people want to go into the medical field. Being a doctor is not always attainable for other people, okay? Being a physician's assistant, not always obtainable for some people. So a lot of people are driven and attracted to the nursing path, which is fantastic. But again, so competitive, and I think it's all for the red dollar. The red dollar? The red cent? The green dollar? I don't know if that's even an expression, but it's all for money, okay? You're gonna go through like step after step after step just to hopefully get in. Once you're in, you're in a very, very competitive, like I said, program, a very rigorous program. And again, community college, you're going to do 2 years of nursing school and you're going to graduate with your associate's degree. Then you are more than likely going to have to go back to school for a bachelor's degree, which is usually another year and change for you to do all of the other courses that will, I don't know, get you a bachelor's degree. So that journey typically will take you 4 years. Same thing if you went to a 4-year school, okay? You graduate, do your prerequisites, your pre-nursing track, whatever they want to call it. Take your T's, get into the program, except with a 4-year, you graduate with a BSN, okay? That's the only difference between the community college and the 4-year university. So like I said, with Chamberlain, from start to finish, it'll be a 3-year program, and that's because my second pro, it's accelerated, okay? Even from high school, you can do all of those classes and still finish before the 4 years because it's accelerated. Typically, classes in college are what, I don't know, semesters, what, like 16 weeks or something like that? Yeah, Chamberlain cuts that in half. So each class is gonna be a really, really fast 8 weeks. You got to be able to keep up. You have to study every single day or you will not make it through that program. I guarantee you. If you're not putting in that work, you're not going to cut it. You're going to end up failing a class, and it's not the end of the world if you fail a class. It will push you back a semester, like from graduating, because you have to like wait wait a time, like 8 weeks in between to like retake that class. But that's another thing. It's like, in Chamberlain, you're kind of forgiven. It's okay, you failed that class, let's remediate, you'll take that class again. In some nursing programs, if you fail the course, you are out of the program and you need to start the whole process over. You need to reapply to the program, possibly be waitlisted, go through like rings of fire, and like give them your firstborn child to get back into that nursing program. At Chamberlain, and I believe it's, again, because it's a private institute, they like money, they want money, they're gonna give you some grace and let you repeat a class. That doesn't mean you can like fail multiple classes and repeat multiple classes, but I know for a fact if you fail one class, you're okay to like just retake it. So yeah, so our first pro is that it is all in one. Like I said, you can get it done. Second is accelerated, wham bam, thank you ma'am, you got your degree. Talk about our third, which really should be number one when you're considering a nursing program, but our third pro, this Chamberlain statistically and historically has high passing rates. If you decide to go to ABC University and they have like a 75% chance of passing boards, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. 75, even 80%, like sounds high, but in like the nursing NCLEX world, it's not high. When I say boards, I'm referring to the NCLEX, which is this, I keep saying state, it's not state. It's the national exam, like licensure, whatever, for you to get your license to become a nurse. You want like 90s, high 90s, okay? And when I was going to school, before I considered Chamberlain, and even now, they're still in the 90s when it comes to board passing rates. That means like, okay, these students are learning, they're being taught appropriately, and they're passing on the first try, okay? Those pass rates are calculated based on the first try of each cohort that graduates from the program. obviously that percentage is going to change each time there's a graduation, because each time there's a graduation, there's a bulk of students, a cohort of students that take these tests that give the school their pass rates, okay? So private schools especially heavily rely on pass rates in order to keep their school functioning and running. Like if a school's pass rates are low, their program will get shut down. If it's consecutively low, I don't know all the logistics and the numbers and the rates and whatever, but if it's consecutively low, they're risking losing their accreditation, and then they can still run a program, but they're not going to be accredited anymore, which means like you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. It's like the Walmart of nursing school. You want the Target of nursing school, okay? You want the Crate and Barrel of nursing school, okay? So high pass rates, again, that's subject to change, but since before I was going to school and even now, they've been high, and that's why they, you know, are still able to run and keep their accreditation going. You want schools that are accredited. If you graduate from an accredited school, you have a better chance of getting into a good hospital. You have a better chance of going to grad school. You can go to non-accredited schools, but like, I don't know what that means necessarily. It's like, ew, like you're not ill, but like you're stuck in that school. You could like go through like a year of that school and then be like, no, what, I need to transfer, but none of your credits are transferable because they weren't even accredited to begin with. It's just like, stay away from anything that's not accredited. If you're confused about accreditation or you don't know what to look for, go on the Board of Nursing website. I'm sure they have plenty of resources and the accreditations you want to look for to make sure that this is a good school that you're attending and you're putting your hard work, your commitment, your dedication to, okay? This is an investment in your future. So you want to make sure you're choosing the right school. Don't just go to any school because you got accepted, okay? Do not do that. Do your research. Do your research. Next pro, that this school is reputable, okay? It is a reputable institute. Like I said, for all of those reasons that I stated, they have high pass rates, they're all in one, they're accelerated, this and that. Yes, they are primarily nursing, which means like if you meet your criteria, you're getting in. There's no wait list, there's no like hoops of rings of fire to jump through. You're getting in as long as you meet all of your requirements. Whereas at a state school or college or whatever, you can meet those requirements and still not get in just because of the influx. It's like supply and demand, okay? The amount of students that they want, or I'm sorry, the amount of seats that they have available compared to the amount of students that want to be in that program. It's like they can't keep up. So this school's reputable and you have a chance of getting in if you meet those requirements, unlike a lot of other institutes. My next pro, it's something called CAS, okay? CAS, going to CAS meant the Center for Academic Success. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I'm probably not wrong about this. In regular state schools, and damn sure I know not in freaking community college, okay? If you want a nursing mentor or tutor, you're probably gonna have to pay for that. Center of Academic Success is basically like built-in, not 24 hours, but built-in tutoring available for you as a Chamberlain student. There is a physical center for academic success. In that center, there's different rooms where they have different tutors, professional nurse tutors. These are actual nurses who are there to tutor you. Like literally, that's it. So I think if you're doing poorly or if you fail a test or something, they'll get that information from your professor. They'll get why you failed the test and remediate that with you. You can make an appointment with them. If you want to meet with somebody every week, every day, you have that option to remediate and study with an actual tutor who like specializes in this, you know what I mean? That not just nursing, but nursing education, and they have master's degrees and they specialize in nursing education, and like they know all the current NCLEX like information that you need to know, and it's such a useful tool. I promise you, it's a useful tool that you're not going to get probably at a state school. I think it's because you're paying so much money in a private school, and that's why you're gonna get this kind of these kind of resources available for you. And they have tons of books that you can borrow, and you get really close with them. You get their cell phone numbers. And I remember being super close with my tutor that I had. And I never failed a class in nursing school, but that doesn't mean I didn't struggle. I definitely struggled in several classes, and they really helped me push through. Gave me tips, strategies, information that I needed to just push through those courses. So the CAS, like clutch. Alongside like that pro of having your CAS, you have mentorship. So when you're a senior or like, you know, toward the end of your program, you will get assigned a mentor. And that mentor is there to facilitate you like your last semester of nursing school all the way until you pass your NCLEX. They stay with you, they stay on track with you, they tell you when you should study, how often, what you need to work on, what you're good on, like, and they really help just like hold your hand basically and get you through the last semester of nursing school and get you to pass your boards. You have their cell phone number, you meet with them weekly. They're just, again, another really strong resource to have that's like specific for you. Like, the CAS is open to everybody, whether it's your first day of nursing school or you're about to graduate, but your mentor is for you only, and they only work with the senior students who are about to graduate, you know, and take their boards. So having that resource there and somebody to hold your hand and help you is like super, super dope, because like this goes into like kind of like a continuing like guided mentorship. Like a lot of other schools, like for example, my sister-in-law, she just graduated nursing school. She graduated magna cum laude, whatever it's called. She was like a straight A student, okay? But in that school, she went to a state school here in Florida. And when you graduate, it's like, peace, good luck. Like, there's nobody to follow you, you know what I mean? Nobody to like you should kind of just like, okay, now what? Like, when do I take my boards? You wait for, they just send you an email like, here's what you need to do, register for your ATT. Once you get your appointment, you know, or once you get your ATT, you make your appointment, you study for your boards and whatever. Like, there's not much guidance after you graduate. Whereas with your mentorship, they're gonna say, okay, great, like you graduated, here's your ATT, here's when it's coming. Like they help you, they see when they see your emails, like they see when it's coming in. Oh, you got your ATT, okay, here's what I want you to study, here's your study plan. I want you to buy UWorld, you're gonna study these questions at this time and this many hours a day and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, hey, are you taking your boards next week? Good luck. Like, it's just so personal, and you don't get that from a state school, you know what I'm saying? So things like that, not everybody needs that. Like, a lot of nurses obviously didn't go to a private school and have those kinds of resources, and they are fine, but it's just really nice to have somebody to lean on, you know what I mean? Instead of just like your friends that are also stressing the fuck out. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. My next pro is continued education. So obviously multiple schools offer continued education, but it's nice, like when you graduate from Chamberlain, it's almost like you don't even need to apply to grad school. Like, you're in, you got over a 3.0, you're in. I know when I was looking at the nurse practitioner program, like it was hardly an application. It was like you were just in, like, oh, you're an alumni, you had a high GPA, you just roll on in. You also get a student discount for being an alumni, and they offer a multitude of different MSN tracks. So like you have your education, you have your like theoretics, whatever it's called, you have leadership, you have nurse practitioner, you have the geriatrics, you have psych. Like, there's no peds, but there are a bunch of different options, and I'm sure that's going to grow in the future. So it's nice to just have that continued education. Again, they follow you closely. There's always somebody to speak to, in my opinion. I know I got a comment recently saying that like somebody is waiting to start and they were assigned their mentor but like haven't heard back, and I can't speak for that. Like, I don't know why that happened, other than like she was saying it was around the holidays. So maybe the holidays, COVID, like, you know. You know what's interesting? I saw a sign, just a little side note. My husband and I went on vacation last week, and we were at this little country store, and there was a sign that said, the whole world is short-staffed, be kind, right? And it's true. Like, maybe they're just short-staffed. Not our problem when you're a customer, when you're paying for this school or whatever, but that could be a reason. But in my experience, like, it's always been like super prompt. It's one of those things where as soon as you fill out your inquiry online, they're calling you within an hour. So yeah, like I know, like, as soon as I graduated, I had somebody calling saying, hey, like, congratulations, like, just to let you know, whenever you're interested in coming back for grad school, you get this much discount, and your whole program is going to cost you this much. So so that was really, really, really nice. Alongside that, like the continued education and discounts, I got a discount in school just for working. Like, when I started grad school with them, they were affiliated with my hospital. Like, their students do, like, their BSN students do clinicals at my hospital. So there's an affiliation there. And because I was working for an affiliate, I got a discount. So that was really, really nice too, because I don't know if that's something that all schools typically offer to their students. So saves you some money on top of like, it's like the cherry that they're taking off of like this ginormous sundae that is your student loans. But I mean, it's better than nothing, you know? Honestly, it was easy to get a job, okay? I have a video that I will also link below about like how to get a job straight out of nursing school. And that's a very informative, thorough video. I feel like there's a lot of good tips in there for new grads or people who are about to graduate. Please watch that video if you're in that ballpark. I highly recommend, okay? But when I say easy to get a job, like hospitals like Chamberlain nurses. Like every time I went to clinicals, they would say, oh, we love Chamberlain. We love Chamberlain nurses. Like, oh, we always hire Chamberlain nurses. And I'm just like, okay, is that true? And when I started my residency, there were only 70 like new grads that got hired to the whole hospital, including the peds hospital. Peds and adults, 70, okay? 11 of the 70 were straight from Chamberlain. That's a lot of, like that's a big proportion considering like how many schools and people from other states that had moved down and stuff like that. A lot of people came from Chamberlain, and I have, it was really cool because I went to my like new residency orientation and I saw all my friends from nursing school. So it's just this, it just speaks volumes, at least in Miramar, like down south, Florida, it really spoke volumes when we went to Chamberlain. It's not easy to get in, okay? When I say like, when I say that it's easy to get into Chamberlain, excuse me, I don't mean credentials wise. I don't mean like school, like GPA wise, okay? Like you still have to put in that work and be a good student with a high GPA to get in. It's just easier in that they only have nursing, so there's no wait list, okay? It's easier in that sense. But you still have to put in that work to get into school, okay? So, but from my experience, these hospitals really loved Chamberlain nurses, and I got a job before I graduated. So do with that information what you will. I feel like I'm very energized today and I have not had coffee, which is weird. So you're welcome. Let's get into some cons, okay? Because it's not all like lollipops and rainbows. There are several cons. I was very frustrated sometimes when I was at school. Nothing is perfect, of course, so there's gonna be some cons. My first con is, I mean, needless to say, is the amount that you're paying for school. I'm very verbal about how much I owe and how much I paid for school. It was $56,000. Okay? 56 G's, 56 racks, whatever you want to call it, 56 of them. We had 56, okay? So it's an expensive program. That does not include your uniform. That does not include your textbooks. Okay, that includes your tuition for your classes and your stress. Okay, that's what it includes in that 56K. Take that with a grain of salt though, because like that's gonna vary a lot depending on like if you have scholarships, what state you live in, if you've already taken a lot of classes outside of school. So that's all subject to change, like are varying from student to student. But for me, it was actually a little bit less because like I have some grad school debt in there, so maybe it was like 52,000. I don't know, it's still a lot. Okay, it was still well over $45,000. So keep that in mind. It's like 600 or 700 something dollars per credit hour, and each class is 3 credits plus your labs will be a credit or whatever. So, and you have 3 years of classes, so it adds up real quick. My second con, and this was specific to my campus in Miramar, Florida, the uniforms. You gotta wear these ugly freaking uniforms to class and to clinical. Like I understand wearing it to clinical, but why do I gotta wear it to class for? Why can't I just wear my student ID? Like for what? So having to wear uniforms, having to pay for your own uniforms when like you're spending all this money on your tuition is kind of annoying. You have to pay for all your textbooks. Like I said, I would just rent textbooks from, what was that site? There's a site, and I think you can do it from Amazon too, if I'm not mistaken, but you can rent textbooks online for like a semester for like $25, $30, as long as you just send it back when you're done. Because the textbooks, you could buy online textbooks, but I'm much more of a physical, tangible type of book person. So having to pay for your textbooks is kind of annoying. Like I feel like that could very well be included in your tuition, but it's not. So that's a con, just the costs overall, okay? Keep that in mind when considering this school or any private school for that matter. One other con I have were the changes. I feel like there was constant changes throughout the program. It's like as soon as we got used to one new structured format or whatever, it would change. For example, the whole school was doing like HESI for a while, which if you don't know what that is, that's like I guess we can call it like the curriculum, if you will. Like everything is HESI. Your textbooks are HESI and your exams are HESI. And like midway through, like right when I became a senior, it switched to ATI. And that was a huge transition because your test questions are structured differently and what you're studying is structured differently. And it was just a lot to change, and we were already stressed out, so we're like, oh my god, we're changing to ATI, are you freaking kidding me? Like, it was just such a huge transition for a lot of the students that, and we weren't happy with that. In hindsight, I feel like ATI was better than HESI. I feel like it prepared me better than HESI because it was so much harder. But so it was that, and like little things would happen, and these are things that are bound to happen anywhere. Like, you know, it's not specific to Chamberlain or anything. Like, you know, like we lost a professor and had a new professor out of nowhere, and like little things like that. But I just feel like I can't recall every single one, but I feel like there were a lot of just little changes that were kind of annoying. And you know, you have to like stop what you're doing and just adjust to the new change. So that was a little bit And the last con that I can like think of is that my clinical experience as a whole. I don't feel like my clinical experience was very rich, for lack of better words. Now if you're in nursing school now and you're like in the thick of clinicals, honestly, are you really like, you're not learning or doing too much anyway? So like thinking back, I'm like, okay, it wasn't that big of a deal. I know now as a nurse, whenever I get a student, well, now I don't, I'm on orientation with my new unit. I'm in the pediatric CBICU. If you didn't see, I don't know if I uploaded, if I'm gonna upload that first or this one, but I no longer work in observation. I work in the pediatric CBICU. So I'm still on orientation there. But when I was working in observation and I would get students or new grads, I'm like hands-on, like let them do as much as they can so that they can like touch and feel and see what it's like to like start an IV or like spike a bag or I don't know, whatever. In my clinical experience, and this has nothing to do with Chamberlain, this has to do very much with each individualized nurse, that person that you had. Mine wasn't that rich. Like, for example, like my med surge clinicals, like I think we went to like IMCU and med surge and whatever, and I had some nurses that would let me be more hands-on, but some nurses that are like, don't touch a thing, just watch what I do. And I understand that. Like as an ICU nurse now, I'm like, I could not imagine just letting a student like mess with my pumps, like, or turn my patient, let alone, no. Like in my type of unit, you have to watch. You don't know what you're doing, so don't touch anything. It's kind of like that. Like, but so that's going to vary like hospital to hospital, nurse to nurse, whatever. But when I speak on my clinical experience, because your classes are so accelerated, they're 8 weeks, only 4 of those weeks are going to be clinical weeks, and you go to clinicals once a week. So it's basically 4 clinicals per class that has a clinical. So like 4 maternity clinicals, 4 peds clinicals. So you're just not learning very much. Like, we went to good clinical sites. Like we got to pick our clinical sites. Like they would give you a list of different hospitals and you get to pick. It's like first come, first serve. But mine just weren't very enriched. They just weren't that fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really learn that much. And to me, they were kind of boring and they were a full 12 hours. So some schools only do like 8-hour clinicals or 4-hour clinicals or whatever. Ours were the full 12 hours. Okay. So I feel like clinicals could be a little bit longer. It'd be nice if they were a little bit lengthier, like more than 4 weeks, maybe at least 6 weeks, but who knows if that's changed. I also don't know if that was specific to my campus that I went to with Chamberlain, but I feel like that could have been a little bit more fulfilling. I don't know why this symbolizes fulfilling, but it does. Amongst all these things that I've listed as pros and cons, you really do have to take this with a grain of salt, if you will, just because this is my experience at my campus in 2016, from 2016 to 2018. So these are things that are just things to keep in mind, in the back of your mind when thinking about any school, let alone Chamberlain. Okay, I hope this is a helpful video for you guys, especially if you're considering this school for nursing. And again, let me know any requests. I have a lot of new subscribers, so hello if you're new. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please leave me some video requests. I am also planning a live like Q&A with you guys, so I don't know when that'll be. I'm gonna try and like post something on YouTube to set like a reminder or something like that, like a couple of days before, so people can plan on joining in for the Q&A and asking as many questions as they want. We could talk about nursing, we could talk about babies, we could talk about hair. I don't care. Just girl chat and boy chat. We don't discriminate. Whoever wants to come can come. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.